The Philadelphia Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions, and honestly, it sounds so nice. I want to do it twice. So I want to go through the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles schedule, and I want to give you game-by-game predictions and some key matchups that I'll be looking at through those games. Now, this is a really tough schedule. I think the Eagles really didn't get any luck. They have the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL, but I do believe we have better than the fourth best team in the league. So I think that is going to be a very good season. So let's hop right into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
As I said, the Philadelphia Eagles do have the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL this year. I've always said these strength of schedules, they're off by like literally 0.00% of, strength of schedule. So it's not the biggest indicator of who's going to be successful, who's not going to be successful, but it does kind of tell you what kind of road you got ahead of you. And we do have a very tough road ahead of us. We start with our rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, who obviously are trying to kind of come back from looking terrible. Last year, they looked terrible and we loved it. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. They won absolutely nothing. It was beautiful to see, but to start your season off there, obviously the Eagles are going to be raising banners, so it's nice to have them in Philly for that ceremony. That's going to be beautiful seeing them on the sideline. But this is going to be a great game. Obviously, the Eagles have some new players, right? We're going to be testing our secondary against CeeDee Lamb, who's always given us fits when he's able to play. Dak Prescott always has good games against us, and they add another guy to the fold in a George Pickens. George Pickens, to me, he's a crapshoot. He might be very, very good, or he might do absolutely nothing for the Cowboys. Honestly, worst case scenario with George Pickens is he totally destroys that locker room. I don't think that that's out of the question. I don't necessarily think that's what will happen, though. Look, this is a game that I think a lot of Eagles and Cowboys fans, I have Cowboys friends, and we always talk about how we want to see these teams play at full health. I don't think that's something we've gotten to see a lot in the Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts era. So, fingers crossed, nothing happens, no golfing accidents or anything like that. We should see a healthy Dak versus a healthy Jalen Hurts and a pretty healthy Eagles team versus a pretty healthy Dallas team. Now, obviously, they have a little bit of trouble. I don't know if it will do anything for the first game, but their wide receiver / kick returner, Cavante Turpin, did get in trouble. He did get arrested. I think he had to do some community service, pay like $100. It was nothing that big, but it would be interesting to see if there's any discipline from the team. If there is from the Cowboys, then if he misses a game, and that's the Eagles game, that could definitely bode well for the Eagles. At the end of the day, we're talking about 3 games between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott actually healthy, and it's a 2-1 favor to the Cowboys. It is what it is. Dak Prescott has 1 game. Let's tie it up. This is the first time since 1970, I believe, that the Philadelphia Eagles will be going against the Dallas Cowboys in week 1, hosting them. And last time we beat them like 41-20. So shout out to history repeating itself. So to make it pretty and clean, I don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles can lose this game. I don't think emotionally you can lose this game. This is just a big moment for Eagles fans, obviously for the team. I know a lot of people might say it might be a distraction. I don't see that for this team. I just think that they're a very focused group, and I think that the coaches will have them ready for week 1. So I'm going with the Eagles winning this game again. I think that they assert their dominance early, and not only the run game, but I think that you start to see my prediction from a previous video that Devontae Smith starts to go off, and you see how he starts to kind of evolve in this offense. So I didn't think I was going to do score predictions, but I'll do like a 35-27, I'll say. I think it'll be a decent game, but I do think the Eagles win. Now, I do believe that God is an Eagles fan, but whoever wrote this schedule for the Eagles this year is clearly not. Week 2, we go against the guys we had to demolish in the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, our defense has a lot of turnover, right? You do have a lot of guys that are no longer here. Slay, BG, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat. You have a lot of new players. You're going to be hoping that guys like Jahad Campbell can take a nice little step in week 2 and become a force for you on that defensive line or edge linebacker, wherever they want to put him. Some people are saying he's going to be a Mike right away. He's going to be in coverage right away. That's possible. We'll see where they put him, but you want to see him make some impact in this game against Patrick Mahomes, who we were able to sack 6 times in the Super Bowl. We hit him 11, so it was a beautiful day. I don't have to tell you guys this, but this is going to be a tough matchup. they're obviously going to be looking for some revenge, right? This is not a game that you can go into Kansas City and just act like you're going to win no matter what. This is a different team for the Philadelphia Eagles. Most likely it's going to be a little bit of a different team for the Chiefs. We'll see. You got an older Patrick Mahomes. You got an older Travis Kelce. I do think the fall off's going to come pretty soon for them. But this is a game that you're coming off a high, coming off of a win with the Dallas Cowboys. Last time that we did play them in the regular season was 2023, and we did win that game. So there's history on our side. We got a nice little streak going against them, nice little motivation, nice little momentum going with this team. So I'm going to probably go against what a lot of people think, but I think that the Eagles can win this game, and I think the way that they win this will, again, be defense, and I think that our run game married with our defense will be the way that we win this game, because I think in the Super Bowl, they went all out to stop the run game, and they saw that did not work at all. So maybe they try to change up their, scheme and try to change up the way they attack our offense, and if they do, I think that we'll be more than ready, and I think Saquon will be more than happy to go out there and run for 200 yards on the Chiefs. So maybe I'm bugging here. You guys let me know in the comments, but I'm going to say that the Eagles win this game in a low-scoring game. I'm going to say the Eagles win 24-14. Next, we bring it back to Philly, and we're going against the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. Matt Stafford's old. We're going to go out there, and I don't like the Rams, especially during the season. I don't think that they're one of those teams that really play well during the season. Feel like they just get hot towards the end of the year. Sean McVay is very good. We've just had their number, especially Saquon Barkley. Maybe they try to go all out and start trying to stop Saquon Barkley, because he's just been running through them. Now, this is going to be a tough game just because this we've already played one playoff team, right? We played the team that we just played in the Super Bowl. We have this game, and then we have two more playoff teams that we have to go against in a short span. I think week 2 to 5, we see 3 different playoff teams. So it's going to be tough, man. It's not going to be easy. This game, again, you're at home. I don't feel like the Eagles usually start off hot, but the more that I talk myself into these, I didn't come up with these predictions prior to the game. I'm just kind of talking out loud and kind of figuring out what I feel as I go. So with this game, I think that we're able to get to Matt Stafford. I just don't think that they have the weapons that they usually do. I don't think that they're going to be that great this year, and I think that the Eagles will take advantage of that. You're coming off 2 big wins in my predictions, right? You're coming off 2 big wins. I think this is a game that you just say, go out there and keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to be able to go out there and get this win. So I do like the Rams in the playoffs. I think they're a tougher team to beat in the playoffs, but I don't think that they're going to come to Philly and do anything, especially, like I said, coming off 2 big wins. I think the Eagles rout this team. I think this is the first blowout you see, and you start really saying, okay, this Eagles team is serious. This Eagles team has a real chance to repeat. So I'm going to say that the Eagles win this one. I'm going to say 34-14. I think that is not really a close game. I think that the running game is in motion. I think that the passing game will be in motion, and I just think we take this over from the first snap. Week 4 is another team that's been a thorn in our side for a while. We've lost the last 2 games in Tampa Bay, including a playoff game. I will never forget last year. It was so hot, and I had to go out there and watch us just get demolished. Now, we did not have A.J. Brown. We did not have Devontae Smith, so it will be a totally different-looking offense. And I will say, the last time, because I've been to the past, I think, like 3 or 4 Eagles versus Tampa games. I don't know why we keep on coming to Tampa. I live out here, so I'm kind of okay with it. I get to see the game. But at the same time, I don't understand why we have to keep on coming back to Tampa. It's hot, especially during the times that we play. It is the hottest that it is during the year. And the Eagles just don't do well in that type of situation. But I will say, the last time that we beat them was when DeAndre Swift went absolutely wild on them. We just let him run loose. That was kind of the opening of DeAndre Swift. He went crazy. I remember the hurdle over a guy. So maybe we do the same thing with Saquon Barkley. I don't know why recently we really haven't been running the ball the last 2 against them. So we'll see what happens there. I want to say that we'll beat them because I do think we're a better team. They just have had our number. And if it was in Philly, I would feel way more confident about this game. But in the Tampa Bay Heat, I'll be at the game, probably sweating my tail off. It is what it is. I hope my Eagles bring whatever Michael Jordan water was, that secret sauce that he had in Space Jam, because if not, it's going to be ugly. I think that the Eagles, I'm going to make it short. This is going to be probably their first loss. I don't think that it'll be a blowout like it was last year, but I do think that the Eagles just won't win the war of attrition. And not only that, you're coming off a lot of big games, right? You got a lot of really tough matchups. This one, I think that you kind of slip a little bit and you lose this one. So I got the Tampa Bay Bucks winning. Not a blowout, though. I'm going to say like 33-28. It's going to be like a late score that wins it for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think it's just going to be a dogfight the whole game. It's just too hot for dogfights in Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. In week 5, this one I'm going to keep pretty short and simple. I think that this is an ascending team. Don't get me wrong. The Denver Broncos are definitely a good team, but we're back at home. This is going to be a 1 o'clock game. They have a very good defense. Like right above ours, they had a really, really good defense. I believe they were number 1 in EPA last year per play. So they have a good defense, and it's an ascending team. Obviously, you got Surtain. You got a good quarterback in Bo Nix. He looked really good last year. I think you have some young weapons on that offense that can continue to grow with Bo Nix and that offensive coordinator and that head coach. I just think that the Eagles have their number. We've talked about this having, other teams' numbers, and as Tampa does, we've been 6-1 the last 7 matchups against the Broncos. Not only are we 6-1 against them, we are 2-0 at home. So we've never lost to them at home. I think the Eagles go ahead and win this game outright. I do think that Denver, like I said, they're a good team. They're ascending. I think that they're going to put up a fight in this one. I do think maybe they slow our offense down a little bit. Score prediction, I'm going to go with a simple, I'm going to say 28-17. I think that Bo Nix gets a little bit of, garbage time points, but I do think the Eagles handedly win this game, but I don't think it'll be a blowout. So through 5 weeks, I have the Eagles 4-1. If you've made it this far, you obviously like it a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know why I'm insane for my thoughts on the schedule, or why you may agree with me. That small, percentage that might actually agree with me once. It'll feel nice. Now, week 6. We got the New York Giants. Look, they added, Abdul Carter, great player. They added Russell Wilson. They added, famous Jameis. Their pregame speeches are going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? They have added some weapons to this team. The Eagles are going to win 30-6. Next game, week 7, we have the Minnesota Vikings. This game should be interesting. We've been, for lack of better terms, we've been hoeing the Minnesota Vikings a couple. I know my girl probably don't want me to say that word, but I got to say it. There's no better way of saying it than that. The Minnesota Vikings have been our little redheaded stepchild for a while now. I don't see that changing. I do feel like I'm giving this team a lot of wins, and I promise you, I'm sure that there's going to be some losses coming up, but it just feels like another win for the Eagles. This is going to be another game that you're going to be away, so it's going to be a tough game, but is this a win or is this not? Again, like I said, I didn't make these up prior to, so I'm kind of going in my head like, this is a decent team. They're going to have JJ back. That's really what it kind of boils down to me. Who is JJ McCarthy? Is he who they think he's going to be? Is he going to be as good as Sam Darnold was, which is just crazy to say. I can't believe I said that. But is he going to be as good as Sam Darnold was last year during the regular season? That's really where it comes down to me. I just can't bet on a rookie, so I'm going to say that the Eagles win this one. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. Again, it really depends on what that quarterback situation is for them. I think the Eagles win this. This is probably the hardest one to come up with a score for. I'll say 28 to like 10. I don't know who the Vikings are going to be, but I do think the Eagles win this game. Week 8, you go right back to the Giants. The Giants come to Philadelphia. It feels like a home game when we're in New York, or New Jersey, I should say, right? Whenever we're at their stadium, it feels like a home game anyways. They got like 10 fans left. But at the end of the day, this is another one. I think that we're going to sweep them. I don't think that it's going to be very close when we do play them. By this point, wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Dart is starting for them. So I'm going to say the Eagles again win this game. I'm going to say, might get even worse. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to say like 37-6. They're not going to score a touchdown on the Eagles this season, and that's my, I'm stamping that, okay? That's my hot take for this video. Week 10 to Green Bay. You got to go out there in the cold. I'm sure it's going to be cold by this time, going against Jordan Love and his crew, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun game. This is going to be one of those games that probably might not go in the Eagles' favor. We've been playing them really tough, and historically, we've always played them tough, even before Jordan Love, before Jalen Hurts. But we obviously saw last year's game that first week was a really, really good game. I mean, it could have went either way. Obviously, by this time, you're hoping that the Eagles are a little bit more formed than they were, right, in week one in Sao Paulo or whatever the hell they were in Brazil. So it should be interesting. This should be an interesting game. I'm going to give the Eagles the loss on this one. I think this would be their second loss. I think that you're going to Green Bay. I know you're coming off bye, so that kind of makes me think that we can win it. But you're coming off a bunch of wins. There's going to be a game. There's going to be a team that kind of sneaks up on you, and I think Green Bay is good. Maybe it's not a sneak up on you, but I think that they can go out there and beat the Eagles. I think we can win every single game, but I got to give a couple losses, right? And I think that this one kind of makes sense. You're going away. It is a primetime game, so there's a lot of things that make me feel like the Eagles could still win this game, but my gut right now is telling me that the Eagles might drop this game. If I had to come up with a score prediction, I think it'll be very, very close. I'm thinking like a 31-28 type game, like comes down to a last-minute field goal, maybe even closer than that. I'm taking the under on all spreads, so I think it'll be a fun game, but I think this might be the loss that the Eagles weren't waiting for, right? I guess I was like saying waiting for. Maybe the Eagles haters were waiting for. So there, you got it. Detroit Lions. The next week, Detroit Lions. This is an interesting one, man, because shout out to my guy Speak Easy. We had we had a little argument on Twitter, right? About basically our offensive lineman. He wanted to say Penei Sewell was better than Lane Johnson and better than Jordan Mailata. He had a lot of things to say. That kind of went viral. It was a fun time. I know the Lions want to play the Eagles. I know they wanted to play them last year. They didn't do their job. We did. You could have played us, yet you messed up. This is their opportunity to play us in a non-meaningful situation. It will be a primetime game. It will be in Philadelphia. I think the Eagles can win this one. It's going to be a shootout. I really know this is going to be a shootout. And, realistically, I'm going to say it. I think that the Lions at that point, depending on where we are, if we're going by my schedule prediction, we have 2 losses. I think that the Lions will, one, have more to play for, and 2, more that they want to prove. I think that this game is going to mean more to them. I just think it's going to mean more to the Detroit Lions than it will to the Philadelphia Eagles. Not by much, and I don't think that they're going to go out there and blow us out. But I do think that look, motivation is real, right? Having that motivation to go out there and perform is real. And I just think that the Detroit Lions have just a smidget bit more because they want to shut people up. They want to shut Eagles fans up. We've been roasting them for a while. So I'm going to give this to the Lions. I'm going to give them their Super Bowl in week 11. Congratulations, Detroit Lions. I think, again, this is going to be a eked out win. I think it'll be a shootout. You might be seeing like 80 points between these two teams. I think realistically, and I don't even think it says much about either defense. It's just both offenses are so high-powered and they can beat you in so many different ways. They have some really good running backs. We have a really good running back. They have some good wide receivers. We got some really good wide receivers. They got a quarterback that can make plays in the pocket, can't really get outside of it. We got a Super Bowl MVP, so I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think it's very, very interesting. I think that this will be a amazing game. I'm going to say the Detroit Lions win their Super Bowl probably like 45 to like 38, something like that. I think this will be a crazy shootout game. So if you're keeping score, I got the Eagles at 7-3 heading into Dallas for week 12. Going to Dallas. We're going back to Dallas. This is another one where I don't necessarily know who the Dallas Cowboys are going to be. They have a new coach, right? You really still don't have a running game. They got Miles Sanders, so congratulations, I guess. I don't know if you wanted a pat on the back for that. They got Javonte Williams, I believe, as well. So, again, cookies all around, I guess. They don't really have a running game. Their offensive line is sketchy. I think that they could be good. Their offensive line could be good, but it is still sketchy. Again, we talked earlier on about, their wide receiver situation. By now, Kevontae Turpin will be back unless he wants to go and do some crazy stuff again. But you got George Pickens. Maybe by this time he's kind of more developed into this offense, more enveloped into this offense, kind of knows what his role is. Maybe CeeDee Lamb is going crazy, having a historical year. Maybe Dak Prescott doesn't choke anymore. I don't know. I'm not going with a bunch of maybes and possiblies and who knows. I say the Eagles sweep the Dallas Cowboys again because we did it last year. And this year we do it with Dak Prescott. I hope. I'm going to say this right now for any Dallas fans that are watching, because I know that there's a couple, just to see what I'm going to say. I hope that you guys are at full health all year. I hope that you guys do great. And every time that we beat you, it just burns in your soul. I hope that it hurts you. Giants fans, I really don't care. I know we're gonna double dog y'all this year again. I really don't care. But Cowboys fans, y'all still talking. Y'all still doubting us. I can't wait for Jalen Hurts to just go crazy in the air on you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna say that the Eagles win this one. I'm gonna say maybe a close game. I'm gonna say like 28-17, something like that. I think that early on it'll be a close game. I think we start to kind of pull away towards the end. So that's a nice one. 8-3. We're at 8-3. Now we go against some games that we should honestly not have any worries about, right? These are games that I think we should win. So first you got the Bears. The Bears. I can't remember. The last game I really remember going against them was the double doink game. I know that we probably played them before that or after that, I should say. So let me know in the comments if I'm forgetting a game. But the double doink, I mean, that's, infamous. I was just watching a video about it with my girl earlier. So, shout out to the double doink. Shout out to their kicker, Cody Parkey, I think it was. Shout out to Cody Parkey. I love Cody Parkey. Anyways, I think that we go blow this team out. I don't think they even have a chance. I know we're now, 9-3 in my predictions. Look, do I really have to explain it? You have Caleb now in another year of that offense. I think they have another OC, if I'm not mistaken. They got a couple more weapons. They have a decent defense. They're not the worst team in the world, but every time they go out there on Sunday or Monday night or Thursday night, I think they forget that they have players on their team, and I think that they forget that they know how to play football. So I'm not afraid of the Bears. I don't think anybody's afraid of the big bad Bears. So yeah, I think this is a rout. I think, especially at home, I'm going to say, look, Eagles a million, the Bears nothing. But if I have to say a real score prediction, maybe 1 point less than a million. No, I think we can score a lot on this team. I'm going to say 35 to 10. I think maybe they score a touchdown. I think it'll be cute. Maybe in the end, the game, we give them a little Mickey Mouse touchdown. But this isn't going to be a close game. And I don't think anybody really is expecting it to be. Week 14, you go against the Great White Hope, Justin Herbert. He's the best player to never do nothing in the NFL. The Eagles we get compared to Justin Herbert. It's crazy how much Jalen Hurts gets compared to Justin Herbert or put behind Justin Herbert on rankings. I don't think by this time they'll probably be out of playoff contention anyways. They are one of the most mediocre teams with some of the best players. It just makes no sense. You have a lot of good players and you do absolutely nothing with it year in and year out. Justin Herbert just might not be who people think they are. That was just my public service announcement. Now about the game, I think it could be a good game. It could be a good game. I don't think it will be. I think this is going to be another game that the Eagles are able to go out there and win pretty easily. But you are away. You are going to their house. You are going to be in their stadium. Maybe they have a little bit of juice because of that. Another thing you got to think about is where we are in the season. Right now, I'm saying that we're 9-3. How hard are we going to be going against them? Because you look ahead in the schedule, and I didn't want to do this too early, but obviously after this, you got the Raiders, right? But after that, you got Washington, you have the Bills, and you have Washington again. So how hard are you going in these next two games? Are you saying we need these 2 wins, right? So we're 9-3 in my prediction. If you win these next 2 games, that brings you to 11 wins. That basically guarantees you a playoff spot, right? That basically puts you in the playoffs. Do you say we got to win these next 2 games, go hard as we can, so that worst case scenario, the last 3 games, if we split them or if we able to win the first or 2, whatever it is, we still have that playoff spot. So to me, you do. To me, you're going hard in these next 2 games. You know that these next 2 games are winnable games, so you have to win them. You have to. There's no question about it. So against the Chargers, I think that we go out there and we just dominate them with the run game. I think that's the smartest thing you want to do. Justin Herbert, no matter how much I might talk junk about him with no pressure, he can be a pretty darn good quarterback, right? When he knows, hey, the playoffs are on the line, then I don't know what he does. I don't know where his mind goes. But if he's going against Philadelphia and there's no pressure to make the playoffs, there's nothing like that, you're just playing spoiler to the Eagles, I think that he could show up in that situation. I don't think he will. I think the Eagles win this game. I think that they win it handedly on the ground. I think they slow the game down, keep Justin Fields off the field. And I think we win this, I'll say 27-13. I think that we win this one just by slowing the game down, not letting them really get their offense going. If they have offense this year, we'll see. I'm a hater on Justin Herbert. I'm going to tell y'all right now. And if you think Justin Herbert is better than Jalen Hurts, let's have an argument in the comments. The Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, whatever they are this year, they're not a real team to me. They are just like a prop bet made for the Las Vegas, for them to have, a set bet. Like, they know that the Vegas Raiders are always going to lose. So they know we'll have them, right? We bought them so that we know we can make good odds around the Vegas. They are not a real team to me. We are going to blow them out. Look, they're like the Delaware Hens on NCAA 26. It's like you really can't play against anybody else, but we needed to fill out the teams. So that's what I look at the Vegas Raiders as, and maybe they make me bite my words. But after seeing their Hard Knocks, everything going on within that organization, and then you see what happens on Sundays, I am just like, I'm so convinced that they're part of the simulation, and we are all getting punked that this is a real team. So the Eagles are going to blow them out. Let's get into some really good games, the last 3 of the year. Now we go to the trash heap that is called the Washington Stadium. We are going to be away for this game. So week 16 against Washington Commanders, and the savior of the NFL, Jaden Daniels, the love Jaden Daniels gets. And again, I'm a hater. It is what it is. But I do think that Jaden Daniels and the full Washington Commanders take a step back this year. I do think that they'll be a playoff team. I do think that they'll still be a very good team, but I don't think that they'll be damn near a Super Bowl team like they were last year. They showed their true colors in that last game against us. They're just not ready for the big dogs. But this game, I'm going to be real with you. I think that they have a good chance of coming out there and beating us. I don't think that we will sweep them. They are a good team. No matter how much I want to hate, no matter how much I think they'll take a step back, I think that they are a good team. Divisional games are always tough. And games against the Commanders just always, for some reason, seem to be tough. No matter who their quarterback is, they always give us a hard time. I remember Sam Howell going out there and looking like Tom Brady against us. So no matter who they have at quarterback, they always give us a tough time, and the divisional games are never easy. I'm going to give this one to Washington. I don't think that it's going to be a blowout. I don't think either game will really be a blowout, but I think that they'll beat us by like 3 or something like that. A late game heroics. That's what Jaden Daniels does. He doesn't really come alive to the second half. So I'm going to say that the Eagles will lose this one. That's 4 losses on the season, but we're going to be all right. All right, 11-4 is still not that bad. Then we get into the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a great game. Now, depending on where the Bills are with their record, they might be resting players by this time. They might be right within the hunt, and this might mean everything to them. The Eagles, with my schedule prediction, they kind of need this game. This will be, depending on what the other teams are doing, obviously. If Washington is right there neck and neck with them, they have that one game on them. This could be a really big game for the Eagles. I know that people love Josh Allen. He's another guy. I think that there's a lot of storylines that can be broken, a lot of narratives that can be broken with this year's Eagles schedule. So Jalen Hurts has now another opportunity to go against another quarterback that a lot of people say is better than him. A lot of people love to say Josh Allen is better than him. Now, Josh Allen's amazing, man. He is. He's a great quarterback. He can run the ball. He's big as heck. He can run people over. He can throw the ball. He can do it all. Fun guy to watch, but he doesn't win much. Doesn't do much when it comes to the playoffs, but he does a lot in the regular season. This will be a really good game. All right. I have us at 11-4 right now. It is going to be a tough game. You're in Buffalo. I'm going to say that they win this game. I'm going to say that the Buffalo Bills win this game. I think, again, it's going to be a really, really tough game. It's just 2 back-to-back away games. You're going against Washington, then you're going against the Bills, and now you're kind of looking forward, right, depending on where Washington is. What is Washington going to do in that last week? Is that game going to be for the division? Is that going to be for the number 1 spot in the NFC? You never know. So I'm going to say that the Eagles lose this one. Again, another close game, maybe 3 to 5 points. Nothing crazy. I think it'll be a fun game to watch between Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. So I'm looking forward to it, but I think maybe this is a game that the Eagles fall. But if the Bills aren't who the Bills were, there's a lot of things that can happen, but I'm just going to go off my gut, and I'm going to say that the Bills win this one. Now, the last game, we kind of need it, right? We have 5 losses. We're at 11-5, 16 games. It's the last game. You want to end this year off strong. I think that the Eagles do. You're at home against Washington. it could mean more for you than Washington. You're coming off 2 straight losses. You did lose, obviously, that first game to Washington, and I don't see us losing both. I don't see them sweeping us. So I think that this game, we split it, and we finish our year 12-5. So Eagles, look, they can win this Super Bowl this year. I really do feel like that. I feel like the main thing is obviously to keep the main thing, but it's also to understand that the regular season, you got to just kind of get through it. Get through it with as good of a record as you can. I know that sounds simple, but it's the truth. Just get through it. You don't want to lose anybody big. Last year, we got really, really lucky when it came to injuries. Obviously, got some towards the end of the year, but we stood relatively healthy throughout the year, and we're going to need that same type of luck going out this year. So you guys let me know what you think. If you think that we're going to go, I have us at, 12-5. What are you thinking? Last 2 years, I was off by like a game or two. 2 years ago in 2022, I believe it was, I definitely guessed it right because I'm the smartest person alive. And I said 14-3. Y'all all said I was crazy. Will this be another year that y'all say I'm crazy? But Joe was right. Who knows? Y'all let me know. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is fly, Eagles, fly. And we going back to the Super Bowl. Peace!
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Fly, Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man Saul Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season head, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.